The Airship and the Assassin, the true untold story of the USS Macon and the spy who fell to Earth. They said it was impossible. They said no nation could truly master the sky on such a scale. But for a few fleeting, glorious years, America did. Imagine a machine, a silver leviathan floating silently above the clouds, a mile-long vessel of ambition and audacity. It was not a ship of the sea, nor a plane, but something more sublime, an aircraft carrier of the air, a colossal, rigid-frame airship, the proudest technological marvel the United States Navy had ever conceived. Its name was the USS Macon, and its brief, spectacular life was a testament to American ingenuity and a harbinger of a darker future. The story begins not with its tragic end, nor with the silent, submerged wreck that rests today in the abyss off the California coast, but in the echoing vastness of the Goodyear Zeppelin air dock in Akron, Ohio, in the summer of 1933. This structure, a gargantuan cradle of concrete and steel, was the largest building in the world without interior supports. Inside, bathed in the diffuse light filtering through its enormous clamshell doors, the USS Macon was nearing completion. She was magnificent. At 785 feet long, only marginally shorter than the world's largest ocean liner, the Queen Mary, she was a miracle of duralumin spars, piano wire, and meticulously doped fabric. Her skeleton housed 8 roaring Maybach engines, providing power to propel the ship to a cruising speed of 50 knots. But her true wonder lay in her belly, the hangar bay. This 75-foot-long trapezoidal cavern, a dizzying void of painted metal, was a true innovation. It was a functional, retractable aircraft hangar, capable of launching and recovering 5 tiny Curtiss F-9C Sparrowhawk biplanes, her airborne eyes. The concept was simple, yet breathtakingly bold. The Macon was designed to be the ultimate naval scout, an unstoppable flying fortress that could patrol the vast expanse of the Pacific, launching its parasite aircraft to range hundreds of miles and report back on the location of enemy fleets. She was built for a coming war in the Pacific, an era of naval dominance by air. The airship's commander, a seasoned and brilliant officer named Captain Alger H. Waish, saw more than just a military asset. He saw the future. He spoke of passenger travel between continents, of mail delivery from New York to San Francisco in a day, of a new golden age where the sky was a navigable ocean. The American public was spellbound. Newsreels of the Macon gliding over the Golden Gate Bridge or looming silently above the New York skyline were not just reports, they were nationalist affirmations of a country pulling itself out of the Depression with grit and technological might. The Macon was christened with champagne and fanfare, and her trials began with a nervous yet exhilarated crew of over 70 men. These were not just sailors, they were a unique blend of engineers, riggers, navigators, and aviators, masters of a new high-altitude world. They lived in a narrow corridor inside the keel, ate in a galley smelling faintly of ozone and gas, and slept in bunks suspended within the frame, dreaming of a limitless blue horizon. But the history of airships is a history of tragic vulnerability. The Macon's sister ship, the USS Akron, had already been violently consumed by a sudden storm off the coast of New Jersey just months before, taking 73 lives, including the chief of naval operations. The fear was palpable. The Macon's men walked a delicate line between groundbreaking innovation and sheer terror. Their magnificent ship, in its short life, was a success. It proved the concept of the flying aircraft carrier was feasible. It set records for flight duration and reconnaissance range. It was a technological pinnacle, floating 3 miles above the cold, uncaring ocean. And then, on February 12, 1935, fate intervened. A sudden, vicious gust of wind ripped through her tail fins over Big Sur, tearing away the critical structures that held her steering controls. The pride of the U.S. Navy, the silver dream of American air power, began its slow, inevitable descent into the Pacific Ocean. She sank, not in a firestorm like the Hindenburg, but with a silent, heavy dignity, her massive frame collapsing under the crushing pressure of the depths. Only 2 of her crew were lost, a testament to the crew's discipline and rapid deployment of life rafts. The Navy was devastated. The Macon's wreck, an enormous artifact of forgotten American ambition, would lie undisturbed and largely forgotten for over 70 decades. A metal skeleton guarded by the ocean currents. Part 1. The Second Descent. The story of the Macon could end there, a spectacular rise and a tragic, classic American failure. But the true astonishment of this narrative connects its end to a beginning that is utterly bizarre, utterly true, and utterly untold in this context. Fast forward 20 years. The golden age of the airship is a ghost story. The Pacific is no longer an open invitation for naval dominance, but a stage for the terrifying nuclear standoff of the Cold War. The United States is locked in a silent, subterranean conflict with the Soviet Union, a war of shadows, secrets, and betrayal. The year is 1955. The American West is a vast, open tapestry of high desert, red rock canyons, and secret military installations. The isolation that once made this landscape ideal for pioneering is now its chief asset for covert operations. Our new focus shifts to the unforgiving, desolate scrubland of Lincoln County, Nevada, a place known then as now for secrecy, military bases, and the kind of strange, unexplained events that generate myth. On the night of May 22, 1955, the silence of the Nevada desert was broken not by the distant thunder of a jet breaking the sound barrier, but by a sound far stranger, the rustling of heavy, unfamiliar fabric descending rapidly, followed by a sudden, muffled thud on the packed earth. Local rancher Calvin Satterfield, a man known for his unflappable stoicism and keen, desert-trained eye, was checking on a stray steer near his property line when he found it. It was a man. The body lay crumpled, still entangled in a massive, military-grade parachute, a chute far too big for a single man and of a configuration Cal had never seen. The man was dressed in civilian clothes, of an expensive foreign cut, but under his suit jacket, Cal spotted the distinct, high-quality leather and steel of a harness clearly designed for a very high-altitude drop. Cal, ever pragmatic, checked for life. There was none. The fall had been too hard, the landing too fast. But the most astonishing discovery was not the man himself or the foreign-made parachute. It was what was sewn into the lining of the man's coat, a collection of objects that made the air go cold. A perfectly crafted miniature radio transmitter, smaller than a pack of cigarettes, that Cal instinctively knew was not a local amateur device. A set of papers, written in Cyrillic script Cal did not recognize, but which his experience told him was a code. And finally, the item that connected this fallen spy to the USS Macon's long-forgotten ambition. A large, hand-drawn, meticulously detailed map of the California coastline. specifically highlighting the Monterey Bay area, the exact resting place of the great airship, with a series of coded depth markings and a faint penciled circle around a location labeled Target X. Cal Satterfield immediately contacted the local sheriff, who in turn placed a single, nervous call to a number in Washington, D.C. that he was explicitly told never to dial. Within hours, the quiet ranch was swarming not with local police, but with stern-faced men in dark suits from the FBI, and more disturbingly, a specialized covert unit from the then newly formed National Underwater Recon Ortho, a department so secret its existence was then denied even to senior congressional members. The dead man was identified tentatively as Andre